Hello folks, CAT comprehensive preparation plan from February. I'm actually a big fan of this. For a long while, I was reluctant to do this for many years. And then people said, look, get into the detail, talk about what needs to be done in which month and dive in and do that. Don't leave things too open-ended. And so let's dive in. Any preparation part for any competitive exam, there are three parts to it. One is the funda building. What is the concept here? Why is the test of divisibility like this? What is the proof for sum of three angles of a triangle equal to 180 degrees? Why does this funda work? And concepts, fundas, ideas, build them. Next part, speed building. Your school exam environment, board exams and that college exams need this, don't really need this. Hardly ever are you going to find a paper where speed is the ball game. Competitive exams, you absolutely need this. And so you know that 3 by 5 is 60%. But you know what 4 by 7 could be called as in terms of percentages? Oh, you know, but you have to figure it out, you have to recall it, you have to remember it. No, you're losing 10 seconds. Should know it, not figure it out. And so that part of amping up speed comes here. The final part is taking a bunch of mock exams to get game ready, to know this is my game, this is a 10,000 VTO, this is what I expect in each section. This combination of marks can take me to 97th percentile, that opens those doors, that's my game. So honing down on that and drilling through and achieving that comes with this. So your preparation starts with this, adds into this, ends with this. But it's not like for 3 months we do this, 3 months we do this, 3 months we do this. It cannot be like that. Throughout, we should all be doing all three. Funda, speed and this. When you're starting, it will be heavily loaded with funda building. When you're ending, it will be heavily loaded with mock building. And obvious, but I'm just reiterating, stating that. Right? What are we going to do? We're going to go down and create a nice structure. And many thanks to Hashwin and Abhishek, put together this framework. Right? Broken into quant, LRDI and verbal. And funda building, speed building and mock. Color coded it nicely. Not just that, we've created these boxes to kind of denote size, make a parallel between size and time spent. So in the first ones, quant is, the funda part is large and quant is large. In the early months, your learning funda is going to be heavily dominated by quant. That's all right. That's how it is for everybody. That's not a crime. As we go further and further, these two will become bigger. In the early parts, the funda part is going to be higher, revision part, speed building part is going to be smaller, mock part is going to be non-existent. Over time, these two will keep growing and that will keep shrinking. Right? So, funda will shrink, mock will increase, speed building will increase, quant will shrink, LRDI and verbal will increase over time. Early part will be spent more on more on funda building and more on quant. Right? Lovely. So, what should we do in quant? Simple rule. Start with arithmetic, grab onto arithmetic, be super comfortable to arithmetic, be super comfortable in arithmetic, be the king of arithmetic, then move to other things. Arithmetic alone can get you to 50% of the mark and 90th percentile or more or better, just arithmetic. So put that in the bag and everything you learn in ratio and percentage and profit and loss and speed time and proportions and pipes and cisterns, all of those set you up for other ideas in logical reasoning or data interpretation or number theory and everywhere. So this is super important. This is the building block on which your whole quant, whole preparation or even a little bit of LRDI sits on. So get super comfortable with that. Right? So focus on arithmetic. Percentages, profit and loss, averages, ratio and proportion mixture. This is a good starting point. Fundamental topics. Percentages feeds into everything. Start with that. Get comfortable with that. Ratio feeds into everything. Start with that. Get comfortable with that. And then go on. And so your speed building will be on these topics. Very simple, hang on to that. From day one, read for 1 hour every day. And so somewhere you get onto some device or app or practice and get onto Bharat's reading list for sure. You'll get one beautiful curated article every day and that just sets you up. You can just say, hey, this is what I'm going to read today. Every day's one article is super powerful. Hang on to that. And here, you know the framework. You know what this world is. Right? What are tables and what is bar graph, line graph, what are pie charts. These days, not a single question comes from pure DI or plain vanilla LR. But you cannot run before you walk. So do that. Get used to simple templates and set the ball rolling. Then what do? We go into March. We say, hey, I'm going to do more arithmetic topics. Practically finish it off. Simple interest and compound interest, pikes, distance, work time, time, speed, distance, races also included there. Revise arithmetic 1 and practice arithmetic 2. This comes here. Continue to read for 1 hour daily. Don't worry about other things. Learn other templates. Basic puzzles, grid puzzles, arrangement puzzles, some data sufficiency questions. Data sufficiency questions have not come in CAT for a long time, but it builds your reasoning muscle for tougher battles out there. So do that. This is keep yourself sharp, keep doing something. If you're waiting in a dentist's office, do Sudoku puzzle. You really have 20 minutes in break. You like chess, play chess. Keep your machine rolling all the time. Yeah. Then what do? We're pretty much done with arithmetic. Shift to algebra. Algebra, what are the topics? Linear and quadratic equations, polynomials, inequalities, functions. They all come under algebra. Algebra sets the arithmetic and geometric progression. Little bit of exponents and logarithms. And so arithmetic and geometric progression, logarithms, they're partly arithmetic, partly algebra. But algebra has all these topics. Algebra 1 would be these. Algebra 2 will be inequalities, functions, polynomials, all of them. Okay. Start with algebra 1. Keep revising arithmetic, whole of arithmetic, super important. When it comes to LRDI, cover all the standard templates. We are getting into territory which is CAT level for games and tournaments or routes and networks. Games and tournaments appear frequently in CAT, that template of questions, and not the very basic ideas, but that template of questions. Get exposed to different types of questions in VRC, not just reading. Know, hey, what is para summary? I want to know this word. What are the different types of questions that come in RC? I want to know this word. Start doing 1 puzzle per day, 1 RC per day. And sometimes this whole thing can be overwhelming. It seems like it's a heavy load. You're not able to manage it. Do either this or that. That's okay. Stay in touch. Keep plugging away. And what do? Next, we do algebra 2. Functions, set theory, inequalities, polynomials. With this, you sign off on functions. You practice algebra 1 and arithmetic. By the time you've moved on to kind of phase 2 of preparation, so it's slightly more time per week. So if you notice this, in Feb, March, we're doing 15 hours per week. Feb, March, April, we're doing 15 hours per week. By the time we go into May, you think you have to put 20 hours per week because you're learning something and you're going to be practicing a bunch of things. And so your learning ability would have amped up by now. The amount of time you will spend learning profit and loss and learning set theory will be same. But profit and loss is a very simple topic. Set theory is a vast topic. You've gotten better. You would have gotten better in a 4-month journey. Feb, March, April, May. By the time you come there, your ability to grab mathematical ideas will go up. And so, but there is another track to practice also. And then right about now, you have to say, look, I'll start taking mocks. You should take 1 mock sometime by April and 1 or 2 by the time you're in May. These mock scores do not matter. These mock practice sessions, analysis, they don't matter. Take a mock, know what this game is. You can't wake up in October and say, oh, this is what the 2-hour game is. You take 1 or 2 just to know how to hang in there for 2 hours and attempt and solve whatever you know. It's for perseverance, for grit, for hanging in there, not for analysis, benchmarking, ranking, performance, percentile, none of that. Right? But take 1 mock or 2 mocks in April and May just to know what this world is. Right? Now we are done with arithmetic and algebra completely. Move to geometry. Do the simple part, triangles, circles, quadrilaterals, and add mensuration to that. So geometry part is complete and then we add mensuration to it. Obviously the practice chunk goes up. The mock treadmill begins. Somewhere in second half of June, you're going to say, I'll do 1 mock per week from here on in. Right? Here, you've learned all the basic templates, you know all the question types. From now on for DI, LR and VRC, there isn't much to learn. There isn't much by way of syllabus for DI, LR and VRC. You need to know question types and patterns. You say, I'll do 2 sets per day of this, 2 sets per day of that. 2 RC passages per day, 4, 5, 1 type of question, 4, 5 of them, para summary, critical reasoning, para jumble, sentence elimination, something like that, 4 of them per day, 4 or 5 of them per day, 2 puzzles per day. So this will be a practice chunk. The learning chunk for LRDA and VRC is done, technically speaking, there isn't any syllabus for LRDA or VRC. Right? So super. Right about now, we understand we're done with the heavy chunks of syllabus, and we're focusing on this. And this has come in and grown. As I said, we will continue to read for 1 hour per day. That is not included in this 20 hours per week count. This whole separate thing. On your way to office, you read. When you're taking a break, you read. When you're goofing off, you read. Your entertainment has to become reading. What Jatin calls as leisure reading is going to be a bedrock of your verbal preparation. Get comfortable reading. Brilliant. What do? We finish off geometry, coordinate geometry and trigonometry. We've already done mensuration. Practice arithmetic all the time because that's again very fundamental. Add geometry revision to it. Continue on the 1 mock per week schedule because we are into July. You need to get comfortable with mocks. Right about now, your mock scores should start making sense, should start becoming a relevant metric for you to track. Can I typically say any mock I will get 45 marks to 55 marks? 100%. What do I do to take it to 65 marks? And then how do I go from 65 to 75? That kind of thinking about mock scores, mock percentiles, rankings, performance split across sections gets started by the time you're in July, by which time you should have taken 6-7 mocks. So you know a sense of what this thing is. Right? Lovely. We continue on a treadmill for this. What do? We go into August. We slightly increase the time spent per week. We continue to read. We're done with arithmetic, algebra and geometry. Then add number systems to this, which is number system factors, HCF, LCM, reminders, all of that. And a little bit of permutation probability, permutation combination and probability, number theory and modern math. It is a fascinating subtopic, vast subtopic, interesting subtopic, but not necessarily a gigantically heavily tested subtopic. So you get typically 1 or 2 questions from permutation probability, 2-3 questions from here. Important, fun, but not crucially heavy weightage. And so do this. By this time, you're so geared towards learning that this whole thing will get done in a month. Practice arithmetic, algebra, and number theory. Revise this. Have an eye on arithmetic and algebra. Okay? 1 mock per week treadmill continues. We're pretty much done with the syllabus. We're into September. Your mocks, course analysis, performance, rating, slating, gap filling, percentile prediction. Where are you headed towards? How do you go from 90th percentile to 97th percentile? All that machinery should be cranking into shape. And so this part starts making more and more sense, more and more relevance, because you've done this and you're going to do this in order to fill the gaps spotted by this. Continue your logical reasoning and verbal practice. 3 sets per day, 2 plus 5 questions per day. Keep at it all the time. And right about now, you've got to say, look, I've got my fundas in place. I've finished the entire syllabus. Now, when I'm learning, I'm not going to focus on gap filling. I'm not going to say, look, I've not yet done trigonometry, I've not yet done functions, but double down on what I'm super good at. If by this time you've not done functions, you can even say, look, I'm not getting functions, I'll leave that. I'm not getting trigonometry, I'll leave that. I'll double down on what I'm good at from about middle of September and not worry about what I'm bad at. With this preparation cycle, by September, you're done with the syllabus. You've completed giant chunks of revisiting. You've amped up and optimized for speed. You've built your autopilot memory for solving passage after passage and puzzle after puzzle. And you're on a comfortable mock treadmill 2 per week. Then you say, hey, I'm on to October and November. Here, mocks are the ball game, nothing else. Take a mock, analyze it, fill gaps. Take the next mock, analyze it, fill gaps. When you take a mock, you'll get this feeling that, look, I thought I was a king in solving Venn diagram puzzles. I got my backside kicked. I'll go and revisit set theory in math and do 2 more Venn diagram puzzles as practice, and then that's the gap I'm filling. I was super confident of pipes and cisterns, work time questions. It came and it took me so long that it would have been better to leave that. I'm going to take 2 speed tests in pipes and cisterns to kind of amp up my game. Mock, analysis, gap filling. Nothing else. By this time you have finished your syllabus, your targets, your exam readiness, managing stress, pressure, all of that come into focus. In the last 6-7 weeks, you're only doing mocks and gap filling. If at this point you realize that, look, I have not finished syllabus, chuck it. I took my first CAT more than 20 years ago. There are parts of the syllabus that I wanted to finish then that I have not finished yet. Forget about it. You don't need to finish syllabus. There's no syllabus to finish. So don't guilt trip yourself or drag yourself back by notions of what you have not done. Double down on what you're good at. Make your decision making better. Fine tune that. You'll go places. So the last 7 weeks are going to be about taking tons of mocks, analyzing them, and becoming game ready. And so if you follow sports, you'll find that when you're class, suppose you'll be a cricket batsman player, your coaches will completely keep on correcting you technically. Right? And you get technically better and better, and when you time the ball and you understand this gaps, what's a textbook way of doing something. And then you watch international cricket, and there are about 40% of players who have their own technique, who's not following anything what these coaches have done, but they do well because that thing works for them. So in that last lap, they've said, look, this is the coaching manual. I know my thing, and this really works for me. I'm going to attack that and get going. So in the last lap, this syllabus, that topic, this completion, push all that. Mock, analyze, revise, and amp yourself up for facing that 2-hour challenge and nothing else. And so, bunch of caveats. So actually, I'm a big fan. I must have a big thanks to say for Abhishek and Hashwin. They put together this with a lot of effort and a lot of care. This is a kind of plan that this is a broad outline. It is not cast in stone. Some people, they will do arithmetic and then they'll go to geometry, and then they'll do number theory and then come back to algebra. That's fine. You pick your battles. Some people are repeating CAT. They've already done CAT once, so they're super comfortable with arithmetic. Their cap is geometry. Then they'll start with geometry. Some say, look, I'm pretty comfortable with math, but I'm getting murdered in LRDI. From February to end of March, I'm doing only LRDI. Do that. Your strengths and weaknesses based customization, you do. Based on past experiences, you want to reshape it, you do. You have a preferred sequence of topics that works for you, attack that. And so use this as a template. As a template, it's brilliant. I'm a big fan of how our guys have put this together. It's absolutely outstanding. So I'm glad that a beautiful template is indeed available. But somewhere, even if you're following this very religiously because you don't have any idea of how to go about this, start in February, follow this, continue in March, continue into April. By the time you're in May, June, you should be like, look, I got this. Beautiful framework, but now I'll carve out my own. And own your preparation, your schedule, your plan, your rhythms. Get to that and have those in mind. If you want a download of this as a PDF, click on the link given below. You'll be able to download that and keep that as a PDF and then kind of see how you can follow it or rejig it for your own self. Best wishes for CAT. Have fun.